Hello students, this tutorial is for the course ITSE 203 entitled Object-Oriented Programming. This subject is offered in the colleges of the University of Technology and Applied Sciences. I have already my installed NetBeans IDE with a version of 8.2 RC. There are lower versions which are also okay. At least you can have the minimum version of the NetBeans IDE since you are just going to write basic Java programs. So let's start by opening this shortcut in our desktop. As we all know, Java is one of the most popular object-oriented programming languages to learn nowadays. And in this video series, let me guide you on how you get started. First, you need to download and install, of course, the JDK and this NetBeans IDE. The version which I am opening now is 8.2. This is the release candidate. And now we already have the opened NetBeans IDE. This is our integrated development environment using NetBeans. Again, the version I'm using is RC, and there are other lower versions which you can make use. So similar to any other Windows environment, you have also the menu bar, which will have the very usual file, edit, view, navigate, help, and so on. There are many options in here, which will also have the shortcuts available in these toolbars. So if, say, I would like to create a new project, I will have to have file and then go to new project, or file, new file. Edit, I will have also so much of the drop down menu which will have so many options of what are the things you can do on this. Every options available in our menu bar. Again, at the same time, you also have your shortcut toolbars, which are the commonly used icons. Say you would like to create a new project or a new file, open, this is save, and so on and so forth here. So let's get started. Let's write our first program, which will be saved in one particular project, or if you want, you can directly create a new file. Or if you are to create a new program, you can simply have a new project. If you create a new project, you can have here so many options. This IDE is very powerful, in which you can create other applications or other programs such as Java FX. You can have Java Enterprise Edition. You can have HTML also, PHP, C, and C++. But we will concentrate on the Java applications or Java program. So we can create Java applications. So click Java and create Java application, and then click next. So there are already prescribed location by default. You can observe that after I choose this particular folder, it will be changed on this project location here. So let me open that. I can simply write my own name. You can write the default name, or you can simply write hello world. Anyway, this is going to be our first program, or our hello world program. So your project name or your file name should be very descriptive. So if I am writing hello world program here, you might as well just use a project name which is called as hello world. And then all we need is already given. You have already your project name, and you know the location. It's in the desktop folder, subfolder Java program under A, academic year 2020-2021. And we all have the location and the project name. So let's go and click on the finish. For you not to be disturbed with other things written in this one, these are actually just comments just to give a description. So you can remove them. So you can have the basic things which you should see in a basic or in a very simple Java program. This is going to be the simplest Java program which you could ever write. So even if I will remove this one, it's okay. But observe that when I remove this, I will some errors later on. You see that it's coming, so I may just have to put it back so that I will not have those red colored errors which later on might be affecting the proper execution of our program. But basically you should have only your class, public class, and then the project name or file name of your program with the begin and end. Inside your class, you have your main program, which will have public static void main, and then you have also your begin and end. If you are going to write here a command, this is where the proper execution is going to begin. It will start the project name or file name of your program with the begin and end. Inside your class, you have your main program, which will have public static void main, and then you have also your begin and end. If you are going to write here a command, this is where the proper execution is going to begin. It will start the execution by checking on what are the things inside the body of your main program. Say for example, because our objective of writing this program is to simply say hello world. So what is the command to use, or what is the method to use when you are going to print or display something on your screen? For example, I want to write hello world. If I am going to write hello world, I'm going to use which method? I'm going to use print method. But observe that you have an error message here. Why is that so? Because you are not following properly the syntax of writing this print method. It's actually should be starting from system, followed by out, followed by print. And simply, let me put a comment on that so you can have a description and you can remember. This simply displays the message hello world. Alright, so again, this will only simply display a message that says hello world, or you can simply put a description here. This will display a message, any message or a text or anything you would like to have inside this parameter or inside this parenthesis. If it's a string, enclose it with double quotes. If it's another type of value, there's another syntax to follow. But for this line number 5, this will simply display or output the message inside the double quotes, which is hello world. Let me try to run this program to show you what errors are there, if there are any errors. So if you are to check for the error, you can simply debug the program. Debugging means you are simply checking on which errors are there for this program. When you debug, if there are any errors will come out here. This is going to serve also as our output screen. Our output is saying build successful, meaning there are no errors, because if there are errors, the errors will be shown here. For instance, I have forgotten to put this close parenthesis here. If I have forgotten the close parenthesis, I will simply have already the message here that shows that gives us a hint or a tip on what the error is. Like say you haven't seen this hint here and you are debugging the program, the error will also shown as you debug here down here. Okay, so the output is saying hello world and it's build successful. Look at this build successful here. If we would like to separate this default build successful and the total time it was built, you can in fact put this down. To put this down, you can put the keyword here, ln. Print ln means that you are going to cut the line or go to the next line after displaying hello world. So let's try to debug again. Debug and run the program at the same time where it shows output. There you have, it goes down already. It went down. That build successful went already below, meaning it has taken effect. This print ln had taken effect. So after you have printed the hello world message, the ln denotes that it should go down, or it should cut the line. The next output should go to the next line. Let's try to prove that by putting another message. Let's just copy and paste this one. Hello world, and let me say my first Java program, because this is your first Java program. So if I have here another print line, I will have to move this down after writing hello world, and again I will cut this up here. So build successful will also go down. So how many output lines shall we have? We shall have hello world, and then we will have my first Java program. Let's run the project and run the program to see the output. So there you have it. My first Java program is also added after the hello world message. I will show you. I will try to remove this ln. How many lines do you think is the output? The output will be one line here, and the cursor stays on this line because it didn't cut here. There's no ln here, so the cursor will stay here. So the next output will just be displayed after hello world, meaning there will be just one output line. Let's try and see the output. Let's see what really happens, or what happens between print and print line. Again, the use of print and print line. These are methods to display message. If it's print, the output, after displaying the output, the cursor stays on the same line. But if it's print ln, or ln denotes next line, after displaying the message, the cursor will go to the next line. See, it is now being written, the output, the next output after hello world is just written right next to it, because the line wasn't cut, because we have used only print. Let me just return ln so that I will have this go to the next line, the cursor goes to the next line. So I will have my next output, which is my first Java program, to be written on the next line. How many lines there will be? There will be 2 lines already. There you have your 2 lines of 2 messages, hello world and my first Java program. Do we always need this parenthesis if we are to write an output? Yes, it's part of the syntax. Again, this system is a class, this is an object, because we are using object-oriented programming, and print or print line is the method to write something on the screen, to display something on the screen. Let me just give you again a description on what are the other things we have written here. This was directly given by the IDE, or by this program. When we had created the Java application, it immediately have translated or written it in a package. You can remove that if you want, or leave it as it is. It will not affect your program. And then we have here line number 3, which is your class. So public class followed by the name of the class. Public is also written here. So what's the use of this public? This public is a keyword. All of this, as I've said, the blue colored words are keywords. This public keyword particularly is an access modifier. What does it represent? It represents that, it means that this class is visible to all. Later on, if you have many other classes involved or written together with this hello world class, it can be visible to other classes. Same thing as our main program here. It makes it public also. Public means it's visible to all. It's an access modifier. What about class. What's the class, the meaning of the class? The class here denotes that we are declaring a Java class. Remember, if we are to create a Java program, all the Java programs which we are writing will be written in a single class. One class denotes one file or one big program. It can be just as simple as this, or it can be big program. So in a single class, you can have only one main. You cannot have multiple main program. But as you can see, I have here public class followed by the name of the class. So this is like one class file or one Java file. One class means you have one Java program file. What about this static? So you know already why it's given as public. It's given as public because you want it to be visible or public to all other classes and all other objects later on, which will be written in one single program. If we have declared the keyword static, it means that you do not have to make other statements or to write other object-oriented codes for you to make use directly all the things available in Java program. Okay, in the meantime, let's just accept it. Whenever we write a main program, let's always make it public and let's always make it a static. What about this void? If you are familiar with C++, it's similar to the syntax of the C++, which is either int main or void main. But what is void all about? Void is actually a return type. It's an available data type in Java program. So, if you are going to put void here, meaning to say it doesn't return anything because this is a return type which is no value or void. It doesn't return any value at all. Again, this is a return type. A return type can be any valid data type in Java. What about this main? This main here is very important. Whenever you run this Java program, it will always have this as the starting point. This is the beginning of the execution of any Java program. So whenever you run or execute your Java program, it must always find, it will have to search for the main body or the main function. This is a function or this is the main program. And inside this parenthesis are the argument, a string argument. If you are not going to put this one, it will not run properly also. I hope you have learned and enjoyed coding your very first and your simplest Java program. That's all for today's lesson. See you in the next video tutorial.